I have a newsflash for Coleen Rooney, and it might not be popular this week, given her so-called Wagatha Christie antics have delighted Twitter, haven't they? Apparently, actually, the spat between Rebekah Vardy and Coleen Rooney has been mentioned more on Twitter over the past week than Brexit, Boris Johnson and Donald Trump combined. But remember, I'm executive editor of The Sun. I have written about the Rooneys for many, many years, and I have to be honest about this because it has been unfair, some of this coverage. Coleen has, for many years, manipulated the media to tell stories about her own life. I've written many, many stories about the marriage of Wayne and Coleen and lots of other things around the Rooneys that have come directly from friends of Coleen, at times with her approval, and certainly nothing from Rebekah Vardy or any of the Vardys. And that's something that I can personally say, and I do want to set the record straight on this because I've been on holiday all week and there's been so much mud thrown, especially on social media, and clearly this is a fascinating story. Good on Coleen for deciding to go public, but we have to be clear that some of what is being said is simply not true. Now, of course, this issue has also divided the wags of this country, and we have two of the most famous wags the UK has produced in different camps on this issue. They are in the studio to go head-to-head on it for the first time today. So representing Team Rooney is our regular on the entertainment hit list, Lizzy Cundy. And Team Vardy today is repped by Nicola McLean, who is, of course, good pals with Becky, and they have been in touch this week. So, Nicola, look, we have to be realistic, don't we? I don't want to be cruel to Coleen because I also think it's totally unfair, so much of the mud that's been thrown at Becky. But come on, Coleen has been a media manipulator. She has put stories out via friends. And so to claim that these three very small, irrelevant stories had anything to do with the wider narrative about her marriage with Wayne is just nonsensical, isn't it?
It's ludicrous. And exactly what you say, Coleen knows what she's doing, and she knew what she was doing by putting that statement out on Twitter. She knew what was going to happen to Becky, and she's sitting back and she's letting it happen. And okay, fair enough, she's not the one writing these tweets. She's not the one that has created this media frenzy against Rebekah, but really she's to blame, and she should come out and she should say that it needs to stop. We're talking about a woman that is 7 months pregnant, okay? And it's not proven. Wagatha Christie, found that it was from Rebekah's account, not from Rebekah. Okay, so phone Rebekah. Have the decency to phone Rebekah and say, oh, my God, this is coming from your account. I'm shocked. Was it you? Rebekah would have instantly cleared this up. I know Rebekah. I know what sort of person she is. I know Rebekah has a wonderful legal team. I know she would have got onto it straight away. But instead, Coleen decided to just go public, and we don't understand why. And as you say, let's say Rebekah did do this, right? Which I know factually she didn't. But let's say she did. My basement flooded. I mean, if that was wrote about me with some of the things that have been written about me, I'd be like, cool, leave it. I'd laugh it off. Like, this seems so odd that Coleen has jumped on these three rubbish stories and has hung Rebekah out to dry from free.
So, Lizzy, why has she done that? You're a friend of Coleen. Listen, you're very close with her. Why has she done this?
Look, you're saying the little stories. That is why, can I just say, I'm friends with people like Bruno Tonioli and Simon Cowell for, 25 years? Because it's the little things that count that you keep to yourself. And she has had story after story for the past 2 years about her family. She's finding it really disturbing. Let me talk. And she's found it really disturbing. And she wanted to get to the bottom of it. And I have to say, look, a couple of years ago, I interviewed Jennifer Lopez. She said, the reason I get out and know who I can trust because I give fake stories. And when that fake story is printed, then I know it's that person. And I get them out of my life. Yes, but when you're that famous, you have to know who to trust. And Coleen played Columbo, one of the greatest detectives. That's the way she did it. And do you know what? I can't believe it's Becky Vardy. I like Becky Vardy.
It's not Becky Vardy. It's
Coleen
Becky
Rooney
Vardy's account.
It is.
Ludicrous. I'm going to ask you a question. You've been in this industry a long time. You're telling me you've never, ever, ever sold a story to the press?
No, I won't say that. I work with Dan, and there are things we work together on without a doubt. But I would never do it behind a friend's back and go,
So you'd say to a friend, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that.
Yeah, if they wanted me to, I've helped people without a doubt, and I said that on national telly
A
on
lot
this
of
morning
celebrities
show.
want stories out there,
But
don't
And they
they?
do want stories out there, but not behind.
Okay, let me talk, right?
No, but
a lot
can I
of
just say
celebrities.
something?
No, I'm going to say something. A lot of celebrities are sitting on telly and on radio shows lying. Okay. Be honest. This is not shocking that people sell stories. It is not shocking.
Coleen has had this for 2 years, Nicola.
Yeah.
She had constant, and she was disturbing her family.
But
She
Lizzy,
wanted to get to the root of it.
But Lizzy, that's what I don't believe.
I don't know
because
if it's right
these
to
are
put someone out there. It's happened to me when my marriage split up. It was a former footballer's wife, actually, and I called her and I said, "Look, I know it's you," and I blocked her, and that was the way
Lizzy,
I would do it. I wouldn't publicly go and do.
Do you know what I suspect? I suspect that Coleen has done this because she wants now the public, the wider public, to never believe all of the other stories that have been written about her and her marriage to Wayne. And as someone who has written many of these stories, many of them that have been given to me by people who are very close to Coleen, often with Coleen's knowledge, I think it's unfair to try and claim that a whole load of these stories aren't true just because 3 stories may have been leaked.
But Coleen felt they weren't just 3; that had been going on for 2 years, and Coleen felt there was someone in the camp she
Lizzy,
couldn't
many
trust.
of this, I can tell you,
And that is that. And look,
but Lizzy,
she thinks it's Becky Vardy. I can't believe it. Becky Vardy doesn't need the money. We have great fun when we go out. She doesn't need the fame. She's got a family. I don't know how she's got the time to do it. But Coleen thinks she's guilty, and that's why I don't believe Coleen would have put it out there, outdid someone, unless she had 100%
Was it appropriate
proof.
for Coleen to do that when Becky Vardy was 7 months pregnant?
I personally wouldn't have done it, no. And I've told you the way I just block people out of my life if I don't trust them. That is the way I do it. But Coleen obviously felt strongly enough, and it was affecting her family life.
Because, Nicola, I know, and again, this is something that's annoyed me, this is a joke for everyone. All of the Twitterati and the people who work at broadsheet newspapers and love to be stuck up and snobby and say, no, I've never even heard of Becky Vardy, and saying all of these horrible things, love to make people like Becky and Coleen the butt of their jokes. But in fact, this has really psychologically affected Becky, who isn't in a good place this week, is she?
No, absolutely she's not. And, I used to be one of those people that, looked at a meme about a celebrity that I might not really like and laugh and retweet it, or tell a celebrity using that term very loosely on Twitter that I wasn't a fan of theirs if I didn't like them years ago. Now we've all realised, with the death of 2 Love Island people, we've realised how affected you can be in this industry and how social media does not help. We should all be smart enough to know what Becky's going through. Nobody could put up with this. I'm so shocked at her strength. She's shown massive weakness.
Why doesn't Becky, if her phone has been hacked, why doesn't she out the person? Why don't you say, look, here's the proof, this is a person that would be in my account.
I've spoken to people close to Becky, and I'm sure you've had these conversations, Nicola, and what they are saying very clearly is Becky will never do that because she now knows what that's like. So why on earth is she going to go and name someone to then just get the same abuse that she's had to deal with the last 2 days?
But she's got to prove herself innocent, surely.
She doesn't have to do anything. It's with the lawyers now, and she doesn't have to do anything. I think this has shown a few people up, and I'm not sure it's Becky. Who
do you think it's shown up?
I think it's shown up Coleen for the way she's handled this, and I don't dislike Coleen. I've always felt she's a great mother. She always comes across well. I admire her for her strength in her marriage. We've all had to have strength in our marriages, so I admire that. But I think she's handled this wrongly, and I think to carry on going for it when she, to let this sort of abuse continue, I think is wrong.
The thing is, you can have a knee-jerk reaction when you suddenly feel betrayed. You can do it. I've just had it recently done to me.
Why has Coleen not spoken out, Lizzy, and said, back off, trolls, leave this woman alone now? Why has she not said that? It's almost like her silence is allowing this abuse of Becky to continue.
No, but Coleen felt, and she feels, that Becky Vardy is guilty.
When's the last time you spoke to Coleen?
No, I texted her recently, and I gave her a text with this going on, because I actually had it done to me when my marriage split.
Right, so you say you're great friends with her. When's the last time you've seen her?
Very recently, Nicola. But I don't go into telling my personal text
You
and
do.
talk with it. No,
You
I don't.
do.
But
No,
Nicola,
you
I
do.
don't feel it's fair.
Now, I can say
saying,
I've spoke to Becky today.
But I.
Like,
And
you
how is
haven't.
she doing?
No, but I just have to
no,
say,
she's not great.
I'm not saying it's right for Coleen to go public. I've just said I wouldn't personally do that. But she obviously felt strong enough and felt she had 100% proof
But
to
you
do
don't
it, 'cause
know.
you wouldn't
don't know. So you're sitting here. I know there's 100% truth. I can categorically sit here.
What is Becky planning to do now, Nicola? Do you think that she might pursue legal action against Coleen?
Do you know what? It's hard for me to say the legal thing. My agent in the car on the way here said, be careful about the legal. And I can't remember what she said. And that's me. I'm always brutally honest. Yes, I think Becky will go legal. And I think that's the ball's already started with that. She's got
So
her
she
dad.
could sue Coleen.
I think it's hard to sue because of the clever way it was worded. It's Becky Vardy's account, okay? That's where Colleen's been clever. Rather than just blaming Becky because she knows then she can be getting done.
Doesn't Becky Vardy want to know who's been on the
Yeah,
account?
do you think she's not doing
And
that?
she's investigating
do you know,
it.
do you think she's not
but wouldn't she
investigating
want
that?
to tell the world that so everyone stops this trolling and what's happening to her, which I don't agree
No,
with
because
one
she
bit.
doesn't want the trolling to move on to the person it was.
But then, if someone is in your account, you're on Instagram a lot, Nicola. I am, as you are, Dan. You would know if someone is in
You
your
do
account.
know. I know
surely.
that people have got my account.
And I know that
So-
that a lot of people have access to my Instagram account.
That's life. That's what
and
happens
also,
when you Instagram.
and also, can I also just put another potential thing here that has not been thought about, right? It is absolutely doing nothing wrong if Becky were to be looking at Instagram accounts and saying to a friend of hers in natural day-to-day conversation, oh, goodness, Colleen's basement has flooded.
Of course.
And that person could then go on and sell a story because there's nothing private about looking at someone's
But it was
Instagram
on her private.
story.
She's got two
Yeah,
accounts.
but you
Coleen.
still
No,
talk.
but Lizzy,
No,
do you
you
see the
talk.
point that I'm making? Nicola, you get the point that I'm making.
So
right.
if I'm
So-
in the pub with my friends, right, I will probably turn around and tell them that story you told me before we were on air. Not to be mean, not to be nasty, but go, oh my God, I turned up today and Lizzy, something's happened to Lizzy and blah, 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 which we'll talk
And then that
and then
person
that
could sell the
person sells
story.
the story.
True.
You don't, I'm sorry, you do talk to your
I
friends.
know you
and
do
can
talk
I
to-
say one more thing about
Yes.
that, Dan, right? You're saying it's her private Instagram account. This makes me laugh. Like 317 people was like her friends on it. You tell me that you trust impeccably 317 people. I don't trust 3 people. So if you're going to put anything on an account where you are letting that many people follow you, yes, it's not the millions on her public one, but it's still 300 people. You cannot trust 300
But
people.
Nicola, she's gone through this for 5 months religiously. I mean,
Oh, she said it was 3 years, didn't she?
No. She's had the story's been done for 2 years and been 5 months of detective work, as I said, like Columbo. And she said the only one name that was there was Becky Vardy
Yeah.
on her account. Okay, so
But we've just explained how this could have
yes,
happened.
I understand, Dan, but she must have felt for anyone to out someone publicly that she had 100%
No,
proof
but
it
you
was her.
cannot have 100% proof. This is what I'm trying to say. There is no way of having unless you are there, or you have seen Rebekah call the Sun or someone from the Sun, which everyone is saying not.
Because just remember, right, over the course of 5 months, Coleen was presumably putting up post after post after post to try and trick out Becky Vardy. So over the course of those
But she
5
must have-
months, but over the course of those 5 months, 3 stories ended up in the press. So Becky could have, over 5 months, easily told 3 friends
She could have told
about
me.
things that happened.
She could have told me.
Absolutely.
But the fact
Are
is...
you the
am
source,
I the
Nicola?
Do you know what I mean? But you
can
know
I
what
just
I'm
tell
saying,
you-
don't you? It wasn't. No, but
For
I speak-
someone to actually go and out them. Look, I was shocked as anyone when I saw Colleen's post. I just couldn't believe
for
it. I just
someone
wanted
who's
to know.
so private,
I wasn't like Danielle
and
Lloyd,
likes
who
to
wasn't.
keep their own
Look,
private
I was
life
on this
so
morning show
private.
yesterday with Danielle Lloyd. She said I wasn't shocked at all it was Becky Vardy, that she'd had a run-ins with her before. I'm not. I've got a good relationship.
Nicola,
I
what's
see
your view on
Becky-
what Danielle
Oh
Lloyd
my God!
said?
Oh, I mean, Danielle Lloyd saying that yesterday really, really upset me because if Becky, that's how vexed I am. If Becky Vardy wanted to sell stories on Danielle Lloyd, she could have. Becky tweeted yesterday and said what Danielle Lloyd said is utter B, and she's just furious that I didn't get Jamie to recruit players when she asked me. I've seen that text from Danielle Lloyd to Rebekah Vardy.
What did she say?
She asked Rebekah to recruit a footballer for her. Rebekah could
when
have
you say
sold
recruit
that.
as a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so Danielle felt aggrieved that Becky didn't help her out.
Well, I don't know why Danielle Lloyd's saying all this, because if Becky wanted to be mean, she could be. The fact of the matter is, it's frustrating as a friend that I've got to come on here and be mean because Becky isn't actually mean.
No, but
like,
I haven't said she's mean either. And on this morning show, if you listened, I was shocked when I saw
You said you're shocked.
I know, but I just
say-
know that in Coleen, I just know she's an honest, decent girl.
And
but I
so is
cannot
Rebekah.
believe that she would put that out there unless she was 100%
But guys,
concrete
there
proof.
is. I really hate this criminalising of gossip. You know, people chat, they gossip.
Yeah,
if you
of
see
course.
someone, if you see something on someone's Instagram story, you talk about it. This has been ridiculously overblown. And Nicola, just what would you say is having spoken to Becky today, what would you say is the final word that she is hoping people to take out away from this now, and how does she move on?
Do you know what? I don't think she's so strong. I mean, she's been crying. I've never, ever known this of her. But she's not, like, begging for anything because she knows she's innocent. I think she's truly, truly upset that someone who she thought was a friend would do this to her. And I think she's shocked as well, and I will put this out there. She's shocked at the people that haven't supported her and the people that have chose to go on, you know, Lizzy, Danielle, everyone that's gone on and said
that's not right, actually, Nicola, because what I did
I'm
say,
only
I
telling you
was
what
shocked.
she said.
I was shocked it was her because I said, from what I know, we get on well.
But she's
I wouldn't have thought she'd have done
that
it.
she hasn't
but
had
I'm
people
saying
standing up for
that,
her.
I'm just
And
saying that
I think this is
Coleen,
her first
Coleen
taste.
wouldn't have done that, knowing Coleen as I do, of put that out there unless she had 100% proof.
Well,
she really wouldn't have.
I could have read that statement and thought the same thing and thought, oh my God, Rebekah's done this, but I know, because obviously I know that she hasn't. But just say, I'm saying that. Say something happens. I'm going to say something. If something happens to you in the media, and someone blames you for something, I can categorically tell you now, Lizzy, you will never see me sitting on a telly, not slagging you off. Wrong thing, you never slag anyone off. But I wouldn't be sitting there making more negativity for you, because anyone I've met in this industry that I like, I will be fiercely loyal for. And I won't sit there on This Morning or any other show for money to make it worse for them. I just wouldn't do it.
I
No, it
certainly
does
didn't
make it worse.
I didn't make it worse at all. But
I'm just letting you know it does.
From
You might
Coleen's
not have
point of
meant
view,
it, but it does.
No, I wasn't, because I actually said I really like the girl, and I was with NTAs with you, Dan, with her, and we got on like a house on fire.
Then
Coleen
don't
would
talk
not
about it till you
have
know
done,
the
no,
truth.
But Coleen wouldn't have done that unless she knew, and she has done her detective work, legals, everything. And if it's been hacked, I say personally, come out and say who it is, because then this will stop, the trolling will stop, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
But she's not going to do that, Nicola.
No one says it's been hacked. This is what I don't like as well, because it makes it sound, like if you send the wrong text message to someone, you go, oh God, I didn't make, Becky is not saying it's been hacked. We are aware that there is more people in your Instagram, in my Instagram, in Becky's Instagram that has access.
Multiple people have access to my Instagram.
And me.
And that means they can look at the stories that I view.
Yeah.
They can look at the stories
This
that
was a
you view.
private account. Okay, they were...
Yeah, but it was
but
on
it's still a
Becky's
private-
But on
account.
Becky's, it was her
Becky's
public
account.
account.
Yes, but...
Well, look, let's just say the Wagro has absolutely transferred to the studio, but you two are two of my favourite wags that there ever have been, because
Thanks,
you're
Dan.
feisty and fearless, and I absolutely love it. So Team Coleen Rooney, represented superbly today by Lizzy Cundy, and standing up for Becky Vardy, the only wag in the country that has been prepared to stand up for Becky Vardy. So good on you,
No
Nicola
problem.
McLean. It was a fascinating debate. And you know what? Hopefully now Becky will become an even bigger star, because in fact we need some star wags, don't we? And I want to see her come back now. And
Me
there's
too.
nothing wrong with a bit of gossip either. Okay. After the news, Sada
drink
Alto
after
is going to be here.
Talk Radio, half